Welcome back to the Thrive Podcast. We're going to be covering what to expect in Cold War. Our first guest is going to be Derek Gunner. He was the top North American coach last year for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. He's going to be coaching Pentagram, Spoof, Zinx, and Stamino for hire. And welcome, Derek.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. So what got you into Call of Duty?
One day I was at school, I was bored. Me and my friends went to go get Xboxes, started playing Black Ops 2. And then I started really getting into competitive and Ghost because I played basketball for a little. I hurt my leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed something to do, pass time. So I started playing competitive.
Okay.
Team battles, UMGs and stuff.
So you were playing before you started coaching?
Yes.
Of course. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our second guest here, is Mr. Tyler Noisy. He was the back-to-back Oshoni champion. He was also a two-time AGN champion, as well as during the off-season of Modern Warfare, he won the World War II Throwback Tournament. And during his Challengers run, he had the Challengers Cup 5. He won that, as well as the Toronto Home Series Championship. And then he finished the year off third in Challengers Champs. So welcome in Tyler Noisy.
Hi.
What's going on, brother? So what got you in competing in Call of Duty?
My dad used to play a lot, so I'd watch him play, and then that got me more and more interested. So I'd watch him play, and I was like, I could play this, but that was when I was like 7, so I didn't even really know what I was thinking back then.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So now that you're one of the top, I guess, free agents right now, going into the COD Challengers this year, what do you think about the scouting series?
I think the scouting series is good. What they're trying to do with it is a good idea, because, I mean, before it was just kind of like, if you had the opportunity to showcase yourself, like, on your stream, or if you played against, like, the top pro teams, that was the only way to, like, actually show that you knew what you were doing. But now with this, like, they're giving you another, like, opportunity to do that. Like, they're making it a lot easier for mid to higher tier AMs to do that, because, like, the pros that are going to drop down and play in that aren't really going to need that, because, I mean, like, the coaches or, like, the teams that saw them play last year, they know exactly what they're going to do already. There's no reason for them to, like, have to prove themselves necessarily, unless they're, like, there's a question mark above their head last year. But it's mainly for, like, the AMs that not all the teams know, like, not all the people know.
Okay.
Stuff like that will be really beneficial for them.
Okay, so obviously with the CDL, they're going to be looking a little bit more probably to pick you guys up and watch those more often. Is kind of what they're implementing, or?
I would like to say so, yeah. I don't really know their idea behind it. I think they're just trying to make the Challenger scene a lot more public and make it seem like the Challenger scene is actually like a farming ground, I guess, for the Pro League.
Right.
So that's what I think they're trying to implement.
Okay. Derek, do you have any take on the scouting series and what you think what it's going to be?
I think it's a really good idea if everybody, fully takes it serious, fully commits to it. I think it gives, the coaches more of a chance to, because most coaches already know the top amateurs from scrims and stuff from last year. But I think it gives, a really good opportunity for the coaches to, gouge the players' mindsets, get a better look at them, talk to them more, and how they communicate with their teammates in game. More stuff like that.
Okay. So obviously we got something new as well as the Challenger Elite. What do you guys take on that with them having a playoffs at the end of it? Do you think this is going to be kind of like a relegation type deal to where you're in the Challenger Elite, you have to play in a playoff tournament, maybe top 3 stays in, and then you have to fight back for it regular season? I'm not too sure on that one.
You got this one, Derek. I don't really know.
So there's not really much information about the Challengers Elite yet, but
Right.
I feel like it's a really good idea to keep Challengers a lot more structured, and instead of just giving us back to back tourneys every weekend. So it keeps the top 8 kind of in their own little bubble, really, and it gives you chances to qualify into it, as the early rounds of 2Ks can get kind of bad.
Okay. so more or less it's rewarding what we saw last year. There was about 8 teams last year that we all saw who's going to be T6, who's going to be doing this. So it gives them more of an opportunity to face each other instead of having to fight all weekend.
It kind of eliminates the top, because normally for regular Cubs home series, you wake up at 12 p.m. to play people who use game chat.
Right, yeah. And then you got 3 rounds of nothing.
Yeah.
So with some of these CDL players getting dropped down, because they're cutting it down to 4 players, What do y'all think about some of these former CDL players coming into challengers? Y'all got anybody you're excited to see play or play against?
Personally, I think there's going to be a handful that are actually going to do well because like they have the right mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be some others that take it a different way, and for whatever reason, they're just not going to have a fun time. That's just me being confident, I would like to say.
Right.
But like, I would like to say that like, if the top AMs of last year could have competed with the bottom pro teams of last year, so like the bottom four pro teams probably could have been swapped out with the top four AM teams, and you probably wouldn't have been able to tell a difference.
Right. So that's a good way to transition to. So some of the former CDC players that are in the league now, how do you feel like they're representing the Challenger Series? You feel like they're doing a pretty good job competing there, or?
Yeah, I do too. I really do because like Draza, he got in last year. Big
Mhm.
fan of Draws. He played for OGLA, played very well. That OGLA team had a better run at champs than they did in pretty much every other tournament, but the one they got second in. So that was a good showing for him. So now he's even signed as a sub still for LA Thieves.
Right. Yeah.
So he's obviously doing well enough to do that. What's another? I don't even know of another AM that's still in.
Mac Awakening Reese.
Oh, Mac Awakening and Reese. So Reese started as a sub, right, and then got moved to the starting roster when they made some changes on LA, and now he's one of their main players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And now Mac is still fighting. Mac's gross. Awakening also still like, they're all starting now. Like they all just got given a shot, and now they're like on the starting team. Like the vets, I guess you could say, or like the older pros are wanting to like form teams around them because like they're that good.
Right. Yeah. I think what we saw at Awakening when he first went in there was kind of crazy. Watching what he did, and then of course Mac Melts and what he did with New York, it was kind of heartbreaking. Did they lose? If I'm not mistaken, they lost to Optic in champs or no? Backwards.
I don't really know. I think so.
It was good. So if you could, if you had to rank the current rosters for the CEL, if possible, what would you have as your top three going into this year?
I would just like to put this out there that we scrimmed FaZe yesterday, and I think they are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're definitely in your top three for the current rosters they have in the CDL?
I would put them number one. I would put Optic and Dallas interchangeable at 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then who would I put it for? I think LA Thieves roster would be really good.
It's going to be fun to watch. Definitely a big Thieves fan. That's what got me into watching competitive Call of Duty was Nate Shot. What about you, Noise? What do you think?
I think FaZe is 100% number one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they're disgusting. But then close second, I would put Dallas. Third, I would switch Optic and LA Thieves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Fifth, it'd be between New York, Florida, Seattle, LAG. Those are all fifth through eighth. Like I could see them anywhere in there.
Okay. So you think it's a little bit more competitive this year than last year? You think we'll see a little bit more?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
A little bit more drive out of them in London?
Well, I mean, since it's not 5v5, you don't have as many like one stack teams as you saw on FaZe. Like all 5 of those guys could go on to any other team and be the top player 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's down to 4v4, like those teams are gonna be more condensed because like you saw with FaZe, like Pristini and Major Maniac, they had to go to Rocker, or they went to Rocker. So now that team has 2 of the second place players from last year on their team just because they had to leave, kind of thing.
I forgot about Minnesota. They'll be really good.
Minnesota will be really good if the meta stays the same, I think. But if it switches to a faster meta, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, so that's a good transition there. We're going to see what your opinions are on Cold War as far as like movement, maps, guns, perks, and what's your overall take on Cold War, especially from being a coach and a player. What do you guys think that the meta is going to be, or what it is now?
So yesterday, they put up the update to patch to nerf the FFAR, and in that update, they accidentally put the subs back to where they were,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was really good, and then they just took it away. Because now, like I feel like with the MP5 still being that good, you would have a 2 AR, like 2 AK, 2 sub meta. So there, you could just like, subs will be viable and like hold down choke points and, just be subs. But now like the subs can't fight back at medium range at all.
So we're kind of going back to where Modern Warfare ended.
Yeah, more AR, more non. Modern Warfare, like the subs could still kind of fight back, but this one is like, it's like super AR heavy.
Yeah, I feel like
Especially, I feel like if they kept that patch that they accidentally put out yesterday, the game would be like the meta would be really good.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Because right now, like, you're lucky if you see one sub on a map.
Really?
Like, you'll see one Krieg, 3 AKs, all AKs, and then like an XM4. But like, you only have like maybe one map where you'll see a sub, and that's Crossroads, and that's because it's just so close quarters.
Do you feel like there's more open lanes this year than there was last year?
Yeah, yes and no. It's different. Like this year, they definitely have more line of sights, but the lanes are still kind of cluttered. But you have ways to see down those lanes.
Okay.
I agree.
So what do you think with sniping? You think we'll see more sniping this year at all, especially with S&D or?
I am tired of snipers.
Snipers are insane right now. Last year we still saw like a pretty decent amount in search. Like, probably see one 80% of the time. And if you didn't, it was kind of like surprising. And that was only because like maybe that team wanted to 5-hit something, like they just wanted to run and bully you. But like this year, you pretty much have a sniper every round. And if you don't, then like you're on the disadvantage because like snipers are really hard to miss with.
Okay. Do you feel like there's more aim assist being on PC this year? Do you feel like it drags you a little bit more than it did last year, or do you think it's still pretty even with the transfer?
I don't think PC has anything to do with it this year because like last year the aim assist was still really strong, but like in Cold War the aim assist is strong and bad at the same time. Like Exclusive Ace put out a video about how like if somebody's strafing one way and you're aiming towards them, like your aim assist will just stop dead in the middle and like it'll fight each other, so it won't go over the target. So it's good in a sense where it's really really strong, but it's also broken in a sense like that.
Okay.
It's like the snipers, they lock on. It's really hard to miss. Like
Yeah.
you could if you aim in the vicinity of them, you're locking onto them.
That's something different. We didn't see that last year with the snipers. They didn't have aim assist last year. They did it with the marksmans. So with some of your GAs and bans that y'all have within the community and everything, what are some of them that you would say that's controversial, like you kind of don't agree with, or something that you would change?
This is a controversial one. Simtexes are banned in the first rule set. Simtexes, I feel like, have never been banned. So with them banning them off the bat here without like actually being able to see any gameplay is definitely something that's controversial. I don't have a problem with it personally because I mean we played Black Ops 4 with a whole year with a cluster grenade. Then we played Nade Spam Central in MW. So, I mean like with this, I don't mind the change, but I haven't really played too much with just frags. Like I haven't gotten a chance to actually test it out, but like the concept for me doesn't really seem that bad.
Okay.
I actually like. It doesn't seem bad, but like I just don't understand the reasoning of it.
Because you have everything else still available. And
Yeah,
not
it's
that.
just like I just wonder like what the conversation had to be for them to just bring up let's ban Simtexes.
Maybe something that you can't throw them back or something. I have no idea. I wouldn't begin to be able to talk about
It's
that.
interesting to say the least.
For sure. So I know this might be a little controversial with both of you guys being in the Challengers scene, but if you had to pick a team in Challengers right now that you feel like is one of the going to be in the Elite Eight, besides your team you're coaching.
Top 8.
Well,
I'll feed off of you.
If you had to pick one, you don't have to go through like a whole list where I think this is the
I
only
would
Elite Eight.
say-
Just one team that you feel like
Okay. So without my team, I would say the Infinite team, which is Cells, Gentroid, Hollow, and Charles. They will be there.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Kismet's team will be there. And Draza's team will be there.
Noisy.
I,
Just
I agree. Like, there's
yeah,
at this point in time, there's not really many teams that are like actually practicing too hard, so it's kind of hard to tell.
right.
It's
Is it
like
real early?
yesterday and like the day before were probably like the first days of scrims. These people are still starting to get scrims like booked and like set up.
Right.
So, like,
I think Bink's team might make it in there. they are-
that's a possibility. I don't know how I feel about that though. I have to see more from them.
Yeah, I'm saying that because one, they have been grinding really hard, so they're ahead of everybody else at the moment.
Mhm.
But I think that is due to the fact that other teams haven't been playing as much as them at the moment. But I think they will continue to be really good. But
Who you
it's
said?
not consistent. Bink's team. It's not consistent
Binks.
in it. Not consistent in the top 8 though.
Bink's team is Infinite, Med, and Cruz. Cruz moved from the APAC region to compete in NA this year.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that they're not doing anything with APAC at all. It's like the challengers, elite challengers, is only North American EU.
Yeah. That's
Bad.
unfortunate for them.
Yeah. So we have a cup coming up soon, December 5th and 6th, and then we have one the 12th and 13th, and then we go into January for the 9th and the 16th. Are you guys kind of excited for the layout? Do you think we'll get a little bit more information on these, or do you think they're going to just kind of do it like? Because last year we had to where, when we all switched to online, we're like, we don't know what this is going to be set at. We don't know the prize pool yet. We don't know if it's going to be set here. If do you think they're going to give us a little bit more information ahead of time? Because we're already 2 weeks out. And we don't even know what we're competing for at this point yet.
I think the cups are the same prize pool. Still.
Think so?
I don't know yet though.
You think there'll be 25?
Yeah. And I think
I obviously
elites
hope they're more.
I think the elites will be more. I think elites will be more than home series and cups.
So
Yeah.
that was one of the questions I had was, do you think there's going to be separate prize pools? So do you think, like you guys being in the Elite Eight, do you think there's some of the, not as talented people that are working up, getting there, that are in just challengers, working their way up to Elite Eight, do you think they'll have their own separate prize pool?
I wondered. I was talking about that last night. I have no clue.
I think it'd be cool. It'd give people more opportunity to come into it, and more organizations or whoever to get more involved in it, because then you'd have your Elite Eight standard, and that
The way that they paid out champs last year makes me think that they will do that.
Yeah, that hit me like a wrench, bro. Oh god, I hated that so much, because I'm sure y'all both know what I had to do with that. But yeah, that was just one of the questions. I just wanted to know if hopefully they do something like that, make it more like a relegation. Because when they do those playoffs, maybe they'll take the top 4, and whoever didn't place in the top 4 Elite Eight, then they have to work their way back up. I just want to know what that process is going to be like. Like, are you going to have like a season, and then you're going to have these cups? Are you going to have a certain amount of matches played? Who do you play? Like, it's a lot of questions to still have that we're all going to have to wait and see. But I think they're on the right track this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better than last year, for sure. Well, that's about all the questions I had. Did y'all have anything else you wanted to implement, or tell anybody else what if they're expecting to compete in Call of Duty this year, what they should, how should they get started, I guess?
You gotta start early, grind heavy, and play as much as you can. Start with wagers, GBs, XP ladders, and slowly work your way into tournaments, and start playing well in those and get noticed by the top players. If they take a chance on you because you consistently play better than them, that kind of thing. You just got to slowly but surely grind your way up. Like, it's not a fast process. I hate to say it.
Right. So how did you, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get like into the Pro 10s? When was your first time getting into those type of lobbies?
I don't remember what my first time was. It was definitely MW.
Juju.
Because Juju never played 8s or 10s, so like that was not because of him. But like getting noticed by better scrims and like better players was definitely because of Juju, because like he would get better scrims than like my older team would. But my older team wouldn't get scrims at all, so like that's easy to do.
Right.
Like it's the same thing like with Juju. Like I got noticed by Juju that I was actually like good at the game. And then he picked me up. We played better teams, and then the case happened again where like somebody else noticed that I was good at the game, so then they picked me up. And the same thing happened. So like you gotta keep showing those players that you think you're better than, that you are better than them, and then they'll take a chance on you. Hopefully, at least.
Right. Kind of how did you get into coaching and working with Juju and Noisy and them at the beginning of Modern Warfare? Was that your first gig Like with a top team, or
What's a top team? Yes.
well, with you know what I mean, with a team that can actually compete. Yes.
No, that was not because I worked with the first hire team, which was Hunt, Fame, Lightning, Jake. Who else was it? Beans. And then after that, they didn't. They were on the cusp of. It was like we were a top six, middle of the pack, top 16 team every week, but we weren't expected to be a top 16 team. More like a
Mm-hmm.
top 32, top 64 team. And we were constantly getting top 16. Got into the top 8 a few times, and then the team split, and I was out of. I didn't have a team. I'm over here. I'm trying to find a team. I DM'd Nick Haight. They gave me a chance,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with them for like 4 months, and that team it started to have its little internal issues, not being like they weren't really winning as much. We were trying to all help it get better, and then after that, it just split up, and me and Tyler went elsewhere, and then it just everything transformed after that.
I have to say that was really exciting watching you two at Sixth Gear. Just the chemistry that you guys had with your team was. I don't think there's another team that had that much chemistry. Knowing where the comms, listen to them, y'all weren't flooding comms or anything. It was really really fun run to watch y'all play that and how everything went.
Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm messing with you.
I had nothing to do with that.
Uh-huh.
That was his. That was him.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Oh man. Well, I say it was a pretty good podcast. I had good topics and everything. Covered a little bit of stuff. It was a good time, talking with you guys and catching up a little bit on some things and what your thoughts are going into Cold War. I think that's going to be pretty much it here for the Thrive podcast. And do you guys have any channels? I know Noisy, you have Twitch and stuff. If you guys want to shout out some of your channels.
Yeah, twitch.tv/noisy_. Hopefully I can get someone to help me take that underscore away because it's not fun. But yeah, noisy_Twitch, @noisy on Twitter, NOYSII. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay.
Twitter.com/Derek Gunna, DERRICKGUNNA. I don't stream much. I have to start.
All right. Will you be able to find all their links and social media in the description? And I'll see you guys till next time.